million people in the United States suffer from migraines. More than a few of them work here at 3TV. This morning, the doctor is in to explain what we can do to treat and prevent them. Welcome back, everyone. It is 8:13. Well, this morning in your Health Watch, they can be so awful and debilitating. We are talking about migraines. In fact, a new study ranks migraines in the top 20 of the world's most disabling medical illnesses, and yet researchers say they are underreported. So joining us this morning is Dr. Sharon Thompson to help us understand a little bit more, as June is Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. Thank you for being here this morning, Dr.
Thanks for having me.
You know, when we look at the numbers, tens of millions of people suffer from migraines.
About 31 million people are affected by migraine in the country, most of those being women. Women are far more affected by migraine than men. We don't completely understand why.
I was going to say, does a lot of it have to do with hormones?
Some of it does. We know that some migraines are exacerbated by hormones and affected by hormones, so that may explain some of why women suffer migraines more than men do.
All right, let's break down some of the maybe issues that could make you more likely to have migraines.
So migraines are have triggers for many people. Some of the triggers are simple. Dehydration can trigger migraines. Some medications, oddly enough, can trigger migraines. Stress, of course. And then there's the hormonal changes. So throughout the month, women can often see that they have an exacerbation of migraines. Folks who have migraines are also more likely to have some other health risk factors. Cardiovascular risk, exactly. Cardiovascular risk factors, unfavorable cholesterol, more likely to be smokers. We don't know that these things cause migraine, but we see that association.
There's a connection
there. May be a third factor that connects those things and migraines.
Okay, and I know for being a migraine sufferer, I can attest to, I think, several ladies here in the newsroom, bright lights and such definitely affect us.
Yes.
The biggest question, of course, how do we treat it? What works for you? It's sort of figuring out what works for each person.
Absolutely, and that comes back to triggers. So each person may have different triggers. That's one way. Avoiding triggers is one way to treat migraines. Some people will need only treatment to stop a headache that's starting, but some folks get migraines so often that they need a medicine to prevent the migraines. So it's so important to have a provider who can help you figure out how to deal with your particular constellation of headache.
What are the questions you maybe want to ask a provider when we're talking about different treatments out there?
Yeah, so there are several different ways to approach it. One is to talk about what you might be doing. So I talked about their medications that can cause migraine. So you definitely want to go over what medications are you taking. And then there are some other things that can trigger migraine. So stress, what's going on in your life that can potentially affect your migraines. We talked about smoking. So that's one thing to review with your provider. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can talk about. We know in terms of treatment of migraines that a certain talk therapy, a certain psychological therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy can help with migraines. That may go to the stress piece, but that's so important to talk about with your provider. That may be an option for you.
And we're just about out of time, but real quick question, because I think this comes up a lot. What about Botox? Are you a believer that Botox can help migraines?
So Botox is an interesting therapy because it can help many things. So there may be a group of people out there that Botox may be helpful for.
Okay, so
definitely
check it out.
Worth checking out with your provider.
Dr. Thompson, thank you so much for spreading this awareness. We're going to put all the information on how to contact Dr. Thompson on azfamily.com. Gina?